Encontré una caja bajo el viejo ropero, cubierta de polvo y de años enteros. Dentro dormían palabras para ti, cartas que el miedo nunca dejó salir. Cada hoja guardaba una estación, un invierno, una lluvia, una canción. Y al leerla sentí volver a vivir los días que perdí cuando te vi partir. Hay silencios que pesan más que una despedida, y verdades que llegan cuando ya no hay salida. Son las cartas que nunca envié, las que hablaban de todo lo que callé, las que decían que después de tu adiós mi mundo siguió girando, pero sin voz. Son pedazos de un corazón que aprendió a esconder su dolor, y aunque el tiempo borró nuestro lugar, estas palabras te siguen buscando en el mar. La ciudad cambió de nombre y color, pero aún conserva tu sombra en cada rincón. El café donde soñábamos volver ahora solo conoce mi soledad. Al amanecer vi parejas cruzando la misma avenida, como si el amor nunca conociera la despedida. Y por un instante imaginé que eras tú quien caminaba hacia mí otra vez. Tal vez nunca leas estas líneas, tal vez el viento las lleve lejos de aquí, pero esta noche quiero ser sincero, porque aún queda algo de ti dentro de mí. Son las cartas que nunca envié, las que guardé cuando no supe perder, las que escribí bajo la luz de un farol, hablando contigo aunque estuviera solo. Y si algún día las llega a encontrar alguien que también aprendió a extrañar, sabrá que hubo un amor de verdad, capaz de sobrevivir a la distancia y al tiempo. La tinta se desvanece, las páginas envejecen, pero algunos recuerdos jamás desaparecen. The road was long beneath my feet, 1,000 miles of silent tears. I carried all my shattered dreams, and every wound from all those years. The sky was dark above my head. The wind kept whispering, give up now. I felt so lost, so far from home. I didn't know where to turn somehow. But when my strength was almost gone, your mercy came and carried me. You found me in the rain when no one knew my pain. You held my trembling heart and called me by my name. You walked beside my broken soul through every storm I faced alone. Jesus, you never stopped pursuing me until you brought me home. There were nights I cried in secret, asking heaven if you cared. Every prayer felt trapped in silence, like nobody was listening there. But now I see your hand was moving, even when I couldn't understand. You were writing hope within my story, holding me with gentle hands. And through the ashes of my sorrow, you turned my mourning into praise. You found me in the rain when no one knew my pain. You held my trembling heart and called me by my name. You walked beside my broken soul through every storm I faced alone. Jesus, you never stopped pursuing me until you brought me home. Every tear became a river, leading me back to your grace. Every scar became a reminder of the love I could never replace. You were faithful in the waiting, you were faithful in the fight. You were standing in the darkness until you led me to the light. Jesus, my shelter, Jesus, my peace. You never left me, you never leave. Jesus, my Savior, Jesus, my King. Forever I'll worship, forever I'll sing. Jesus, 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 I belong to you. You found me in the rain when all my hope seemed gone. You lifted up my weary eyes and showed me where I belong. Through every valley, every fear, through every battle, I survived. Jesus, your love kept reaching for me. And now I'm truly alive. You found me, you found me in the rain and brought me home. The sky was heavy over my shoulders. Every road seemed lost in the gray. I carried questions without answers and watched my strength slip away. The voices told me I was forgotten, that hope was gone and love had died. But somewhere deep within the silence, I felt you walking by my side. When my faith was barely breathing, you were the air inside my soul. You walked with me through the rain, through the heartbreak and the pain. When I couldn't see tomorrow, you kept calling out my name. Through the darkness, through the fear, you were closer than my tears. Jesus, you never left my side. You walked with me through the rain. There were nights I stared at heaven, wondering if you heard my cry. Every prayer felt like an echo, fading somewhere in the sky. But now I see your hand was working, even when I couldn't understand. You were building something beautiful from the ruins of my plans. And every broken piece I carry became a story of your grace. You walked with me through the rain, through the heartbreak and the pain. When I couldn't see tomorrow, you kept calling out my name. Oh, through the darkness, through the fear, you were closer than my tears. Jesus, you never left my side. You walked with me through the rain. Oh, you were there when I was falling. You were there when hope was gone. You were there when I was crying, holding on when I was not strong. Every valley, every mountain, every step along the way. And now I know you never left me Savior. You carried me, Jesus, my refuge, Jesus, my King. I will trust you through everything. You walked with me through the rain. Now I see the sun again. Every scar is turned to worship. Every loss became a gain. Through the darkness, through the fear, you were faithful through the years. Jesus, you never left my side. You walked with me through the rain. Through the rain, you stayed. Through the storm, you stayed. Jesus, you stayed. I remember that cold December evening when the world felt darker than before. Every prayer became a whispered question as I sat alone upon the floor. I had nothing left to hold on to. Every dream had slipped right through my hands. I was drowning in the weight of sorrow, trying hard to understand. And through the silence, through the brokenness inside, I felt your presence standing by my side. Jesus, you found me there in the middle of my despair, when my faith was weak and my heart was torn. You carried me through the storm. Jesus, you heard my cry, even when I asked you why. Now I know your love was always there. Jesus, you found me there. There were nights I couldn't stop the crying. There were days I couldn't see the light. Every road ahead looked full of shadows. Every step became another fight. But you never turned away from me. Not a single moment was I lost. Even when I couldn't feel your presence, you were standing at the cross, looking over every wound I tried so hard to hide, holding every shattered piece I buried deep inside. Jesus, you found me there in the storm. Jesus, you heard my cry, even when I asked you why. Now I know your love was always there. Jesus, you found me there. You saw every tear, you knew every fear, you heard every prayer I whispered in the dark. You never gave up, you never let go. You stayed through the night and led me back home. Jesus, you stayed. Jesus, you stayed. Jesus, when I couldn't see tomorrow. You stayed when I couldn't lift my head, when I thought my story ended. You stayed. Jesus, Jesus, you found me there, where mercy met my deepest pain. Jesus, you found me there. Now the scars become my testimony, and the tears are not the same. Jesus, you heard my cry, and you never left my side. Now my heart will sing forever of the love that saved my life. Jesus, you found me there. Jesus, you found me there. And I'll never walk alone again. The room was quiet, but my heart was breaking. Another night with tears I couldn't hide. The weight of all my failures kept me sinking, and I was running out of strength inside. I stared at heaven through the darkness, wondering if you still heard my prayer. I felt forgotten by the world around me, but then I felt your presence there. Not in the thunder, not in the rain, but in a gentle whisper, you called my name. When Jesus whispered my name, everything changed. The fear that held me captive could not remain. The shadows lost their power, the chains began to fall. When Jesus whispered my name, he healed it all. I remember every broken promise, every scar I tried so hard to hide, every road that led me into sorrow, every battle I could not survive. Your mercy never stopped reaching me. You knew the story before it began, and still you chose to hold my hand. When Jesus whispered my name, everything changed. The fear that held me captive could not remain. The shadows lost their power, the chains began to fall. When Jesus whispered my name, He healed it all. You saw every tear before it fell. You knew every secret I could never tell. You carried my burden, you carried my shame, and somehow heaven came closer when you whispered my name. Jesus, you know my name. Jesus, you know my pain. Jesus, oh, you stayed the same. Jesus, through every storm, through every flames. You know my name. Jesus, oh, when Jesus whispered my name, the night gave way to light. The wounds became a testimony, the darkness lost the fight. Now every breath I carry will glorify your grace, because the day you whispered my name, my life was changed. Jesus, you whispered my name. Jesus, and nothing stayed the same. Last night I found your photograph hidden inside an old book on the shelf. The years have painted silver on my hair, but somehow I still remember everything. The coffee shop where we used to laugh, the rain that caught us walking home, the promises we made forever, and how forever somehow came and went. Time moved on, but some memories refuse to leave. You're the letter I never sent, the words I never said, the melody that still remains inside my restless head. Though life has taken different roads and seasons changed again, a part of me still smiles when I hear your name. You're the letter I never sent. I heard our favorite song this morning, and suddenly I was 22. For a moment I could almost see you standing there in your blue dress. funny how a simple memory can bring an old heart back to life. Not with sadness, not with regret, just gratitude for those beautiful nights. Some loves don't disappear, they simply become memories. You're the letter I never sent, the words I never said, the melody that still remains inside my restless head. Though life has taken different roads and seasons changed again, a part of me still smiles when I hear your name. You're the letter I never sent. If tomorrow never comes, I hope you know you were one of heaven's gifts to my lonely soul. And though we never had forever, I thank God for every little moment we called our own. You're the letter I never sent, but never threw away, a chapter that time couldn't erase. And if somewhere you're smiling too, then maybe love was never lost, it simply learned how to live inside memories. Goodbye, my old friend.